My partner completely changed after we moved in together and I don't know what to do about it. I am mother of 3 children. I left their dad 8 years ago before I knew I was pregnant again. After some years of focusing on the kids' well-being, I tried online dating and met my current partner. We met 2 years ago and hit it off. I liked his witty humor, his ability to take care of himself, something my first partner never could, that's why I left him, and his charms. He seemed to be very thoughtful about himself and how his actions affected others. Our relationship grew. After a while I carefully introduced him to my kids and they got along well. Last year we decided to move in together. We both have well-paid jobs above average and earn nearly the same amount of money. The housing market is crazy where we live, the few suitable apartments we found asked for a ridiculously high rent. That's when we started house hunting, because paying of the credit loan is cheaper than paying some fancy rent. We found a house, got a loan, 50:50, and moved in. Since then, I barely recognize him. He is really mean towards me. When something minor happens, e.g. the house is not as meticulously clean as he likes it, he starts to get really angry and rage cleans everything. He does not ask about my day or how the kids did today, but just assumes I left the mess to anger him. There is no benevolence at all in his actions. When I try to explain that I left for work early and did not have the time to clean after I got all the kids ready, he just walks away and does not listen. When I am sad and ask for a hug, he often declines because he is just not in the mood. He is always bickering and blaming fault on others. He does not joke anymore or laugh. He stopped talking to me for several days a few times. Whenever he is upset, he calls me his ex-name without apologizing. A few months into our relationship, our physical intimacy declined. When I tried to talk about it, he shut me off, several times. When I tried to initiate intimacy, he got upset. When I told him I wished for more intimacy, he got upset too. He got fond of the kids and takes part in their daily life, but since he is not used to be around children, he does not know how to behave properly. I often have to remind him that their brains are not fully developed yet and that some rational ways of thinking are not to be expected from them yet. Still he gets mad at them and I have a hard time calming him down so he does not yell at them, for normal kid stuff. He also does not keep up to his promises. For example, we talked about this year's summer family vacation and agreed on something. 4 weeks before the start of our vacation, he emphasized on how eager he was on going. 3 weeks before the holidays started, he wrote an email, I was in CC, to the hotel and cancelled his post, leaving me going on vacation alone with the kids, and paying completely alone. Beforehand we had agreed on splitting 50:50. He completely ignored my birthday, not even a message. I tried very hard to explain his rude behavior to myself, new circumstances, financial worries, a lot of strain at work, bad sleep, but I am lost now. This is not how I want to be treated by anyone and definitely not by my partner. I suggested a lot of things we could do to grow back together, but he ignored all of them. I tried to talk with him a lot of times. I tried to use nonviolent communication to not further enrage him. I am walking on eggshells around him. I wrote some carefully composed letters. I suggested counseling. He blew me off because he does not need to pay for somebody to tell us you are the problem. I always feel treated like an enemy, not his partner. He went on a business trip last week for a week. He got home late, but I got home even later due to work. I went to bed and instead of greeting me, he was still awake. He got pissed I had a cold and made some noises breathing which disturbed him falling asleep. He furiously left our bedroom, slept on the couch and has not spoken to me since. Last night, back in our bed, still not talking, he could not sleep and I suggested he open the window to let in some fresh air. He got mad again because I dared to talk to him. He slept on the couch again. I want to end this relationship, but I don't know how. I don't want to upset the kids again, they have had some strenuous events with their bio dad, and they, at least seem to, really like him. They ask for him when he is not around, etc. I feel so weak right now. If we sell the house now, the bank will ask a prepayment penalty, leaving me with minus $70,000. And I will have to move again. I want my kids to live in an emotionally healthy environment. I tried everything I could think of to improve our relationship, but I have come to the conclusion that his actions are out of my control and that he will not change. I can only change how I deal with him. Comment. This has, unfortunately, all the hallmarks of an abusive relationship. I don't know what country you are in, but if there are social services available, I suggest you contact a local women's shelter and start planning an escape. I know leaving and the change of it all is scary, but please understand you and your children are in actual danger. F the money and get out. You can make more money, you can't take back the abuse you all will continue to endure should you stay longer than you need to. Consult an attorney ASAP and get your ducks in a row to untangle yourself financially from him. Buying a house with someone you've never lived with is a very bad idea. You need to leave sooner rather than later. Not only for your sake, but your kids. They need a loving and stable home. Get them into therapy. You may not think you have the strength to leave, but do you and your kids have the strength to stay? Because staying is going to require even more than leaving. If you need to save up beforehand, maybe hire a house cleaner in the meantime one day every 2 weeks or however frequently you can afford, and let him know you have done this. You can also start packing things to reduce the clutter and tell him you are donating them if he asks, and put them in storage or a friend's garage. I would plan to set aside money from each paycheck. If he has access to any of your bank account information, make a second account and do not let him get wind that you are planning of leaving until you have contacted an attorney. If your kids haven't done a yearly checkup at the doctor yet, they should do that, so it is documented that they are not currently physically harmed. Also, make friends with your neighbors. First things first. Your kids should have their own house. It's never a good idea to bring someone else into your family and have responsible for your kids' home. You wrote you make good money. I would suggest that you have your own place for your own kids. Then get dick down somewhere else. That's your life now. Kids are always first, second, third, and fourth. This guy seems dangerous. I have no idea why you still got your kids in the same house. Sell and buy/rent your own place for just your kids. Get your dick on the side somewhere else. All of your responses, to include below comments, is that of someone being abused. You unfortunately chose someone who kept that face plastered on until he got you to move in together. Staying with an abuser doesn't get better, but it sure can get worse in a few years. You aren't thinking about what another couple years of this abuse will do to you mentally. You let him buy you out and move on. You take the financial hit. You make your kids understand that you don't just live with and accept abuse. You teach them to be stronger than this. Because right now, you are teaching them that they are to find reasons to stay and okay the abuse. Is that what you really want them to learn? What dignity? You're giving it all away by staying. What strength? You're giving him all the power. I did all of this in 2007. I started completely over again. The peace of mind of knowing that the abuse was over with, was worth more than all the money. Next time, you rent for a year or two and see first before you take a huge financial step like that. Narcissists and abusers wait until they have you fully in, then the mask comes off. Live and learn. I'd also stop letting him have anything to do with my kids, as he is not their father and he might be nice to them at the moment, but once he realizes he doesn't control you, then see how really acts. Next story 2. How do I get over the fact my mom will never love me the same as my siblings? I have been struggling emotionally since I learned my mom doesn't love me as much as my siblings. I love my mom, but our relationship hasn't always been great. She only recently has started talking to me because I graduated and am going to college for computer science and was also diagnosed with MS, but she didn't visit me in the hospital. I forgot her reasoning though. Recently I talked to my nana and she confessed that my mom told her a few years ago that she couldn't love me as much as my younger siblings since I wasn't planned and she was too young to bond with me. It kinda shattered my ego and self-esteem, but I haven't mentioned it to anyone. But I've been isolating a lot, everything feels irritating and I can feel myself slipping into my depression again. I'm set to fly out in December to where she lives to spend a month with her for her birthday and Christmas, and I do wanna go, but I know if I keep this way I'll end up making myself miserable. I've tried everything to make myself feel better but nothing's working. I've even tried shaping myself to be more like her when she was younger to see if that'll help me any, drinking Starbucks, being super outgoing, sewing and trying new things, but nothing seems to help me feel better. What doesn't make me feel better is that every time I talk to her it's about my other sister, who is her favorite. Right now my younger sister, who I'll call June, is going through a rebellious teenager phase. She's drinking and smoking, breaking the law and driving erratically just in hopes to get chased, and she's uncaring to our younger siblings. But my mom still loves her more than me and I just wish I could do something right to make her like me more. My mom keeps mentioning how she'll hope June will snap out of it and that she loves her. And whenever I talk to June it's always about something new and stupid she's done. She even mentions that if anything goes wrong our parents will protect her. I've tried throughout the years to get my mom to like me, but I always feel I somehow fall flat. I've gotten straight A's, was the youngest to graduate in my class, I'm going into a respectable field just to make her proud, and I just don't know what I could do anymore. While she is really proud of me I can just feel it's not enough. Maybe I'm being selfish or something trying this hard, but I just want my mom to love me. Does anyone have any advice to help myself feel better? I don't want to cut her off, I just want to feel better about myself even knowing I'm her least favorite. Comment. Have you had a sit-down talk with her and tell her how you really feel without sugarcoating it? Why not, instead of trying to get her to like you more, you try to value yourself more and let go of the need for external validation? That's really bad. You might not get over it but might learn to cope. I hope you have other people to love and be loved by.